So those loadings is happening in our front end uh, through our operating system. But how does it happen through browser? This particular module helps us to load it. And one more thing that we need to import is the HTML Webpack plugin. So what does that HTML Webpack plugin does? Say for example, if you are having any specific template, what do you mean by template? So this is Visual Studio Code, and you can see the Explorer over here, and it is displaying all the files that you have created what are the files inside a folder, and when you double click on it, it opens the folder over here, file over here, and it is highlighted like this. These are all templates. So in real time, you will be having a real templates also gets loaded in your browser, and the HTML Webpack plugin helps you to achieve that goal. So we also need this particular plugin. So to import that, what I have to do is you have to use the name require and HTML Webpack plugin. Is it somewhere we have here that? Yes, just a moment before. What we have done is we have imported it, and we also did some mistake over there in putting a wrong name. HTML hyphen Webpack hyphen plugin. That's it. So once you've done that, the next thing that you have to do is you have to export. What do you mean by export? So each and every Node.js or module file that you write, right? It should be exported. It should be then only then it would be visible. Whatever the things that is contained over here, right? It would be visible by the outside package. For that, you have to write this code module.export, and you need to put that in the open braces and the close braces. And from here, we will be writing the code. This is where we are going to write the actual code, and each and everything is having its own importance. At first, I'm going to mention entry point. The entry point for this Webpack config, once you get into the Webpack config.js, what is the entry point? I'm going to mention that. So over here, I'm going to click .main.js. This file is not created yet, but in future we will be using main.js is the entry point. So I am mentioning that over here. And after that, all the Webpack contents needs to be bundled, and it should be put it in a output folder, right? Say for example, if you are downloading a files in your computer, it is downloading and putting in a specific folder like that. All your JavaScript will be executed and it will be put in a specific folder, and that is output. So I am going to mention it over here. Output path colon. Remember, like we have said earlier, path is nothing but the thing it tells like where I need to fetch the contents or set the contents. So over here, we are mentioning it as outputs. That means we are telling where we have to bundle it. So path dot join, and in this join, I'm going to give the directory name, and this directory name would be another module. What it will tell you is the current directory name of it would be passed to your Webpack. So if you just mention underscore dir name, it would do that, and you have to give bundle. So you can also give some another name as well, but make sure that you use the same content all over the place. And now we are going to bundle it, bundling the file name over here. So it will be bundled whatever the file you are giving over here. Be specific in mentioning the file name and make sure you remember that, and so that it avoids getting a confusion while referring it. So I mentioned over here later. So these are all the output things that is done, right? I also want to mention a server. Remember Webpack server we created? So how to do that? So there is a keyword for it. It is nothing but dev server colon this one, open and close automatically does that, inline colon true over here. What do you mean by inline? Inline means a line within a line. The dev server is present within a simple English word, like a dev server would be present in a browser itself. Don't confuse the server concept with over here. This is something that is built inside the module itself. And I'm just going to give comma. And if there is any rules and regulations that needs to be followed, like need to do some test or anything, yeah, make sure that you'll also get all this stuff, like when you are doing something with the Node.js. It's all, just ignore it and click on colon roles, and I'm just going to mention rules. What are the rules that I am going to execute as an array over here? Once I finished writing this, like I'll also explain you like what is it, dash / and a backslash. Why there is / and backslash? The / tells you that any contents of JSX, you just take it and test it. So that is what this code is all of. And this backslash is nothing but that gives you the path. Any path would be referred in a command prompt using the backslash. That's why backslash over here. And this is front, closing it. And if you want to exclude any file, you can also mention that exclude node modules, because node modules is the one whenever your module package.json is getting generated, right? Node modules will be automatically generated. So when you are uploading your file also, at that time please ignore node modules. It would create some other complications if you include it. There is a typo. Node module, and later I'm going to do Babel loader. Why I'm giving Babel loader? That is because it is the one which tells the browser and makes the content up and running. Okay. And let me write some query as well and presets like this. Query colon presets colon hyphen. These are not all the constant values that is we used for ICMA script. what is ECMAScript and other things, you can just browse it, because if I'm going to explain all those things, like it would take a lot of time. And React, our main motive is to learn React. So I'm closing this over here. This is the closed version of it. Okay, so I did some mistake. What I've done is I've written some semicolon which is causing a problem. And JSX, why the semicolon comes over here again, that's a problem. And node underscore modules looks correct to me, and loader looks correct to me. Maybe loader, it should be in single quotes. Query, correct to me. Presets, after query it should be a comma. Presets looks correct to me. Yeah, make sure whenever you create any file that it is not highlighted red in error, that means there is a problem in your content. And closing it over here. And last but not least, we will load the plugins alone, which is more important. Plugins. What plugin we are going to use? HTML Webpack plugin, which we have mentioned earlier. New HTML. Yeah, it automatically comes. That is because it was downloaded and installed. So that is the great use of our Visio code. It would automatically get loaded. Colon dot index.html. Can I say? You can mention your own name. This would be the place where would be the first point. Once this is done, yeah, everything is done. Over here, closing it. Should I have opened it? It should. HTML plugin should open in a bracket and close in a bracket. Semicolon and a square bracket to close this, and a final bracket to close this. Yes, everything looks perfect to me. So what happens is, in this webpack config.js file, you see at first I am importing two components. One is path and HTML Webpack plugin. These two things are mandatory in almost if you are writing a correct Webpack folder. Path tells like where you have to look into, where you have to load your contents. HTML Webpack plugin, it loads the templates, and anything which you have written in .js folder, it has to be exported so that it is available outside your package. So I am exporting it. In exporting it, at that time itself, I am explaining the entry point is main.js, and the output should be bundled like this, and this directory name, yeah, over here it would give you the representation like nothing but place or everything where your current server path is being mentioned over here, and it would be bundled under a name called indexbundle.js. I'm going to use a server, dev server, Webpack dev server we installed. I'm going to use it at the port number 8001, and I am going to, if I modify, I mean based on this port number only, it would get loaded in the browser, which I am going to show in the upcoming tutorial. Next tutorial, I'm going to write an hello world program with this Webpack file, and I'm going to show you how this port number 8001 is loaded. And then you are writing a module. So you have entry, output, dev server, module, and plugins. These 5 points, 5 components are mandatory. And inside the modules, I'm going to set up rules where I'm going to say test everything that comes under JSX. JSX is a component, React component, where the extension will end with .jsx, but it is not mandatory to use .jsx. We can also use .js. and I'm going to exclude node modules because the node modules will be installed by executing an npm install command. So I don't want to use that particular node modules because node modules you should not be there in the var. It would create some other different problem. And Babel loader query, I'm just mentioning as a presets. That's it, done. Just save it, and I'm going to mention that as an HTML. So we have created the webpack config.js. These all components are mandatory, and this is what it is. Whatever the in future you are creating any React app and it want to be var and it has to be bundled. These are all the mandatory components that needs to be present in webpack config.js. And apart from this, a small thing that we are going to do is we are going to open our web package.json which we have created at first. And in this package.json, what we are going to do is we are going to tell that we are using Webpack. So what I am going to do is the scripts is there. I'm just going to ignore all the stuff. I'm going to modify it. I'm going to mention it as a start. Whenever my package.json, as I said, it is in first entry point. At that time, it's going to start a dev server, and the mode in which it's going to start can be a development or whatever it is, and it is based on like each and every environment you have. You can mention this particular variable would be mentioned like I'm just going to mention development. I'm going to mention it as open and hot deployment that is going to be done, and I'm going to create another thing is I'm also going to build it. So once the application starts, it also needs to be built. Any application needs to be built, and I'm going to mention Webpack -mode production. I'm going to build it over here. So even this build should be in quotes. This is the complex of Visual Studio Code. So once I click on build, oh yeah, it should be also in quotes. Quotes. Yeah, now it is clear. So that's it. And your Webpack is ready. So this is what we learned in this tutorial. So I know this is a big tutorial, and this tutorial would be divided into 3 so that you can just spend only a few minutes on each and every day. This is the complex part in this particular tutorial, like creating a Webpack config.js. While we are executing npx or React app, at that time you can able to see that everything was loaded perfectly, and we also rendered the backend. So npx command does all this for us, like it bundled everything, and if you take a look at the files loaded, you can you can see like there will be a lot of components loaded. In this tutorial, we are going to do that manually so that we will learn how the configuration is being happened, so that in case if we come across any problem like build issues or your React app is not loading, you can do it on your own. You can debug on your own and make sure that the application will be up and running. Yeah, that's it done. And Webpack config.js, and we have also mentioned that install the Webpack, and we also mentioned in Webpack config.js like what was the entry points, and in package.json we also said that it would be acting as a dev server. So when you just give npm start, that is enough. Webpack dev server would be created and it would automatically deploy all this contents like into bundle.js and it would load. So which we are going to see in next tutorial, and in next tutorial I am also going to write the other first hello world application by ourselves so that in front end we can see how the contents whatever we written the code brings those in the front. Um, that's it from my end. I'll meet you in next tutorial. Thanks and have a nice day ahead.